YouTube, what the corn crap is going on? HeirofCarthage here. And yes, we are back in the Archaon campaign and ready to continue against Throgg and the pretenders of the north. I was told by people, so a few things we need to take care of in this episode. And one I'm going to do right here because I'm worried I'll forget it first. You all gave me tons of awesome comments in the last episode. Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to respond to all of them because there was nearly 300, but I did read all of them, and I definitely had a lot of them that I very much enjoyed. One of which suggested that we name one of our Chaos Knights with lances after we'd call them the Troll Hammers, and I thought that was a pretty cool name to honor. I'm gonna actually make it 2 words to honor their victory over Throgg. So we're gonna call them the Troll Hammers. The other thing in this army that someone pointed out is great call out. So again, definitely appreciate all the comments and all the feedback. I'm gonna delete one of these Chaos Knights because we can go into our encampment, which I am going to head just a bit north before I do so we can cover some ground. Head north. Oop, hit the wrong button. And let's head into our encampment, and there is a regiment of renown knight with lances that I want to recruit. Or it's not a knight with lances, it's just a standard Chaos Knights. This is a Crimson Rampage unit on it. So awesome armor, leadership, speed right where we expected. Really good melee attack, solid defense, just like other Chaos Knights. The cool thing, actually these are just built in from Archaon right now. And then when we look at some of these other traits here, it's got this Bloody Slaughter, which is going to be a constant augment to themselves of 12 melee attack and 20% weapon damage while taking away melee defense, and they have the potential to rampage. So, cool unit. I don't like the rampage mechanic, but still a cool unit, and we're going to bring them into the army. That way we bring in all those awesome units. Now, the other feedback I got from y'all, because at the end of it I was a little confused about whether or not we can subjugate Wintertooth, and people were saying that if you offer the peace treaty, this becomes available right here. So thank you. I when I saw the red peace treaty, I guess my immediate thought was, oh, they're still not going to cooperate. Maybe it's not an option. So thanks for pointing that out, because this is the way we're going to make it happen. So after having defeated Throgg, we can now vassalize him. So now we need to go defeat Wulfric. I need to fight Wulfric long enough, though, that I'm able to awaken 2 more tribes, though. And so part of me is almost kind of considering keeping this battle against Throgg open for just a minute. But I think we'll be all right. I'm going to go ahead and subjugate Throgg.
That was my idea.
Alright, so we've subjugated Throgg. That also gives us income. Now some people are like, Air, you also need to subjugate because it gives you income and helps you not run a deficit. Well, the thing is you don't, don't get me wrong, that's cool, and that's good for people to know. And yes, it does do that. But at the same time, once you start sacking these big settlements as you go along, you're going to get plenty of money to pay for everything. But it is correct, and it's a good call out. So I'm going to move on through and get ready to try and subjugate Wulfric. But like I said, we need to awaken 2 more tribes. So that's going to be our goal here, so that we can recruit Sigvald. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback about Sigvald's army and kind of the composition of it. It will include some Hell Cannon batteries. And then we're going to have the Mirror Guard and probably a couple of standard Chosen. But we're thinking that Sigvald's army, from the feedback I'm getting from people, is going to have some Chaos Spawn and Trolls and other stuff in it. Because, Sigvald would... the way people say it, because of his vanity, he wouldn't want all these pretty units around him. He'd have all the ugly stuff so that everybody knows how wonderful he is. Again, hopefully I'm interpreting this right. And the other suggestion with Sigvald was that he be the one to go attack the elves. And I know I'm showing a turn-in, but it's because I want to discuss this. I'll cut out the rest of the turn-ins. But in any case, that he should be the one to go after the elves, because of his vanity and because the elves, you know, have all these big, beautiful settlements and all that other kind of stuff. And I like it. I think it's a really cool idea. So you all give me final feedback in this episode, because obviously we're not quite there yet. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm going to start cutting out the turn-ins from here on, and we'll get back to normal. One other note here at the beginning of this episode. I am not going to record the battle separately for this particular episode. I am about to travel. I will get you tons of cinematics, I promise you that. But I don't have time to go separately record those because I'm very time pinched here before I make a trip with Mrs. Air. And we're going to be out of town, and so you're actually going to have a couple days here without videos too, which I apologize for, but there's very little I can do about it at the moment, and I will make you more content as soon as I can. Doom Keep is now within striking distance, and we will attack it. Hopefully we can awaken a tribe here, but it kind of depends on the settlement. Yep. So we can awaken Scaling. And someone even suggested attacking these tribes the very next turn, and then subjugating, or no, they come out as a vassal. I think. Let's double check that, because people were saying that if you make sure they're your vassal, then they won't declare war on each other. Vassal, 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 yeah, vassal.
Yes.
So we should be okay, I think. Again, unless I'm misunderstanding something, and please let me know if I am. All we have to do is awaken one more tribe, and we should be able to take care of business. Wow, Norska was getting owned. They've only got 2 more settlements down here, so we better be quick about it, or else we may not get the opportunity. So I'm going to force march as quickly as I can down here to Ice Drake Fjord. Looks like it's the closer target, and we'll take care of business when we get there. The other thing, sorry, one more thing that you all mentioned to me is I'd mentioned that we name this guy any character, and people actually kind of like that. And one person even suggested that we name him Bersonling, and that way he was down here camping and eating marshmallows. Because it's Bersonling's camp, right? He just camps out down here. So I do think that we'll rename him. And we're going to call him, we'll kind of split the gap here. Bersonling, any character is going to be his name. Because move any character to Bersonling's camp. So we take the game quite literally here. So enjoy your time camping. There's Bersonling, any character. Now I will see you as we approach Ice Drake Fjord. We are ready to attack Ice Drake Fjord. It's defended by Schwarzwiener Eck. And then we've got Wulfric the Wanderer down here at Pack Ice Bay. We need to hurry if we want to get to both of them. So let's attack this wannabe Eck here. And yeah, you know what? I'll fight this one so that we can have some. Well, you know what? No, I'll save it for Wulfric because these guys are kind of chumps. I'll save it for Wulfric. Let's just auto-resolve these guys out and let's go get Wulfric. There was not the option to awaken a tribe there. That's not good. Hopefully we get the option to awaken a tribe at Pack Ice Bay, because we kind of exhausted our sources of tribes. If not, I should have continued to fight Wulfric. So yeah, if I need to, I could always declare war on Throgg and resubjugate them. I don't know if they would have much of a chance, and it's not like it matters whether people really like me much from a standpoint of diplomacy. It shouldn't be a big deal. Everybody's gonna hate me anyway. So we finished the Chosen Ones. I want to get this Knights of the Herald, which is gonna make our Chaos Knights better. And then eventually we want to go ahead and get this Ascension to Demonhood, but that requires us actually to unlock all 4 of these, which I'm not a huge fan of, because I don't like spending the skill points there, but we'll do it. We have the mount for Archaon now, Dorkars, so I definitely want you all to see him in action. Should be pretty cool stuff. We've got Appius here, who gains a skill point. We want to keep working him towards the Arcane Conduits. I'm going to finish off Pit of Shades, get magical reserves, and then Arcane Conduit. My goal with that is to always get as much winds of magic to be summoned as possible. so that we can, you know, inflict as much damage as possible onto our enemies. That's always our ultimate goal. Ha! This is what I get for having tried to make friends with filthy, disgusting rats. So, the Skaven are going to declare war on me. I don't know what in the world this disgusting clan rat is thinking, but he's going to attack us. Good luck, Clan Molder. I'm ready to attack Pack Ice Bay. I didn't actually even fully replenish my troops because I want to get Wulfric while we have a chance and before he can run away or potentially be killed by another faction. I'm not going to allow that. He's got an army here that has at least a few elite infantry, a feral mammoth, so this should make it fun. He's only level 5. Expected a little better out of Wulfric here, but he must have been getting his butt handed to him by someone else. And we don't show mercy to the weak on this campaign, folks. In much the same map, even, that we defeated his peer, Throgg, Wulfric is now going to be fought by Archaon. And I know I told you all I didn't have time to get the full cinematic battle, but, folks, I wanted you to have the best. I guess there's always time. So let's go take a look at Wulfric's army. His infantry is going to be a weak point for him. He does have some marauders with great weapons, as well as some just standard marauders through here. You can see Wulfric there, and he's got his feral mammoth. So he does have some units that are slightly capable of damage, like these marauder ice wolf chariots as well. Could be good against infantry, but he is overmatched in terms of infantry. And at this point, I've decided that I'm going to focus on his feral mammoth and take this thing's capability away from being able to hurt much of my infantry. So I'm going to bring Archaon over, and I'm going to spew some fireballs on this mammoth, and then charge it with my knights with lances, exalted hero, and Archaon quickly oust it from the battle, and then we will focus on defeating the Wanderer and subjugating him. So here he is, thinking that he will fight proudly, but victory is not even within his grasp. Not possible at this point, even with my forces being somewhat damaged prior to this fight. Roast mammoth, anyone? So the mammoth takes a hit. I'm going to start running my cavalry forward into the next position. It takes some time for the cooldown on the fireball, so I'll let you all get some sweet looks here at the Chaos Knights with lances running with Archaon. Archaon will eventually have his Swords of Chaos Regiment of Renown that will give him an additional Guardian, meaning physical resistance, as long as they fight near him. So the mammoth takes 2 big hits and a decent amount of damage done. And at this point, getting hit by this many knights with lances as well as Archaon. Oh, and he hits back hard. This is a fight of heavyweights. The mammoth, though, takes mammoth damage, pun intended, immediately because of the enormity of the charge bonus. But look at the damage he deals back there. All that splash damage and weapon damage. But the mammoth will quickly be ousted from the battle while my infantry cleanly engages the infantry of Wulfric and overpowers it. So the marauders of Wulfric will not be able to stand, and I'm going to have Appius on standby with his magic. I'll start to use some magic with him in terms of being able to debuff. So I think I just used Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma over there. Archaon punched through the mammoth immediately, leaving its shattered corpse on the battlefield. And then I've used my knights to pin down the chariots and the marauder champions on this flank. The marauder champions are being beaten to death by knights, and there are more knights incoming, which will finish that fight. My knights with lances are taking a bit of a savaging here in the middle because they're in prolonged melee, but there is some chosen nearby to support them, and there are other knights, the Ravagers here, the Crimson Rampage, working their way into this fight as well. And Archaon is now fighting using the Slayer of Kings against Wulfric, the Pretend King, and Wulfric is being beaten down summarily by the combination of Sextus. And you can see Appius at work there near behind where there were some Marauder champions. They will soon be sucked into a pit of shades, where their souls will be tormented for who knows how long, until they're fired out of my hell cannons at some point. Wulfric routs easily, and then the remainder of his army will be not far behind as my infantry has absolutely pummeled its way through his lines. He obviously was no match for the true Ever-Chosen here, and he will be subjugated and serve the Lord of Chaos. And clearly, even without us replenishing, Wulfric was no match for what we could offer here. Not a match at all. I played a test campaign before I played this one, and Wulfric had grown extremely strong. Some part of me is a bit sad that he didn't in this one, but he's sad and pathetic for not having grown, and we will put him in his place as a lowly vassal who begs for scraps off of the glory that we receive from destroying the old world. Alright, we are not able to awaken any settlements here. That's not good. Not good, folks. I've probably miscalculated a bit here. I may have to declare war on Throgg again. I know, I believe there's one tribe in every province, and I don't believe we're actually able to awaken one down here in the Ice Tooth Mountains. I don't know, we already have because of Doomkeep. Yep. So I think we need to go ahead and try and vassalize him, and I know it seems kind of backwards, but I'm probably going to hit let's see, Varg Camp, Sarl Encampment. I'll have to hit one of these to awaken another tribe, and then we'll just have to re-vassalize the disgusting troll. And if the other people rebel because of my untrustworthiness for doing that, then we'll put them back into their place regardless. They will learn their place. So our knights have now been fully buffed through Archaon's skill tree. Leaves us in pretty solid shape. Very excited about it. After the turn end, we're going to see if we can force
I travel the world seeking
peace on
jewels.
Wulfric.
Today you bring one to me.
Alright, so Wulfric
Okay.
is now our vassal as well. There's no other tribe for me to awaken at the moment. I don't believe I've met the threshold. Pretty sure if I would have, it would have given me a notification. We have not. We lack one more awakening of Norskins, and then all we lack for awakening Kolek is a particular building. If we go up here and destroy Naglfari Plain, if that's how you say it, which I may be wrong, then we can awaken another tribe. I noticed that I lost a unit. I believe the Everwardens got lost in a battle here. Perhaps in an auto-resolve, perhaps killed by the Mammoth? They may have been lost in an auto-resolve and I not noticed. But we can re-recruit them as soon as I get into an encampment, and we will. We've finished the technology research on supernatural prowess, so that's going to give us additional attack for chosen units. Definitely not a bad thing to have. We have an enormous amount of favor with the Chaos Gods, so we will now do pledges to the Dark Gods to unlock a whole other tree. There's not much left that I'm terribly interested in those lower trees. As for Sextus of Chaos, let's see what upgrade he needs next. Could give him missile resistance. The Barded Chaos Steed drops his leadership, but it gives him 20 more armor. He's also going to lose speed and attack. I may leave him as is for now because I can probably just get armors, and I'd kind of like to keep the higher leadership that comes with it, or eventually he's going to go on a Manticore anyways. There's really no need in wasting much there. I'm going to continue to get him ready to potentially assassinate enemy agents that pester us. I think that will be a proper use for him. I'm going to go ahead and continue my speed march to Naglfari Plain, and we'll replace the missing unit in our army as well.
Come.
Look at this pathetic rat. Declares war on the Ever-Chosen as if he actually has a chance of winning, and then 2 turns later begs me for peace through his stinking rat teeth. No, there will be no peace. You can become a vassal, or you can die. That's all there is to it. So pledges to the dark gods has been completed, but we get this situation that arises here. The eye opens wider. The chaos gods see their champion, but each has its own agenda. Nurgle wishes the temperate southern regions, perfect for his unctuous poxes to spread. Slaanesh desires the colder north, where men look to their warm bodies. So if we go with Nurgle, we get campaign movement range, and if we go with Slaanesh, we get raising settlements. I'm going to go with campaign movement range, so we will please Nurgle for now in order to move around more freely. You can see there is a quest battle to be fought. I have not forgotten that. Surprising as it may be, I've not forgotten it. I'm going to move forward and leave enough movement points to hit an encamp stance, and I'm going to re-recruit the Everwardens into our army for now. They don't deserve to be forgotten, though I do think in the end I will probably have them go to serve with Sigvald, as that might be a cool one, and they're not an actual chosen unit, although they probably kind of still fit the theme. I'm going to try and keep it pure on our theme. We're going to start by building this Dragon Ogre Gathering. That should unlock Kolek as a lord. And then we'll also go for Lightning Grounds. And Appius finds himself with yet another skill point. We're getting magical reserves as mentioned. As far as the next research, let's take a look at what we have available to us. Additional campaign movement range and replenishment is good to have early. And then there are definitely other things in here that I'm interested in. But let's start with Infernal March. We can now recruit Kolek, and I will. He will come kind of an attaché, so to speak, along with Archaon's army before we go on to build him a mighty army. His is going to be Dragon Ogres and Shaggoths only. I say only. I may have to put something in there to help absorb it, but actually I think what we'll do is just give Kolek all the Dragon Ogres and Shaggoths, and then we'll just assign like a minor Chaos Lord that you all can help me name to kind of be Kolek's infantry escort, because Kolek is only going to wield the monsters in this case. We can have lots of armies because we're going to gain lots of favors, because we are going to destroy lots of our enemies. Folks, we are ready to summon Kolek. We just don't have the population requirement yet. So we have to have a population surplus of 2. So what better way than to continue? We will have that population surplus on the next turn. But I know this is a little bit not exactly down the plan that we had originally, but Throgg will have to be submitted twice because I need to awaken one more tribe. That's all there is to it. So we're going to awaken the Varg, and if only it was Surtha Ek who was leading them, but yeah. Anyway, Sigvald is now available as well, so we can get both of our remaining legendary lords. We have enough movement points that we can assign the skill point, and then fight our legendary item, or our quest battle for the legendary item, which I believe is the Armor of Morkar. Correct. So let's teleport. Now let me give you the background on the battle here. It says Archaon stands beneath a storm-shaken sky, boiling with eldritch power, pelted by an inverted rain of blood and buffeted by hot winds. Here one can witness the rebellion of nature itself, where even the elements are torn between the mortal and immortal worlds. Before him looms a monolith, raised to the glory of the Chaos Champion, the twisted ground at its base littered with skulls from whence screams of malice arise. A challenger comes. We will fight for the Armor of Morkar, and you can see it gives us extra armor, melee defense, a 10% ward save, and wound recovery times. It is a pretty sweet armor and allows Kolek to continue to build his ward save. We'll be fighting against Rulek Blood Eater here. You can see that he's got himself a dragon, and holy crap, is this going to be a cavalry battle for the ages.
This fool dares challenge me. He thinks I care about his trivial lust for power. I will teach him a bitter lesson. One for all who defy me, who dare to oppose the will of the Chaos Gods. Here is a maggot to make an example of. It will be a warning to all the chieftains of the North. Now, my followers, let us attend this tiresomeness. By dusk, I wish to be swilling the maggot's blood in his upturned skull, while channeling his ravaged spirits into Morkar's armor.
Now, in terms of the sheer force of enemies here, this will be one of our biggest matchups. You're quite familiar with my army, so let's focus on the enemy. Here's Wulfric here. And this is going to be his forces. There's a great number of Forsaken up front, along with some warriors. Let's check out these guys here, these Chaos Warriors, triple gold chevron Chaos Warriors. And then we've got Chaos Warriors with great weapons, more warriors mixed in with Forsaken, and then the Chaos Dragon with Wulfric here astride his mount. He will be a formidable foe. The reinforcements that he brings from a cavalry standpoint will also be quite the battle. I expect our infantry should be able to cut through the enemy infantry. You can see the Everwardens here in the middle. They will be the ones most exposed here. My other units, having so much physical resistance and ward save, will be quite safe. I dodged the charge of Wulfric with Archaon, and then quickly turn my forces. You can see I'm going to make a lap out here with Archaon, activate the Slayer of Kings, and really pour on the hurt as Wulfric charges in. It gets completely surrounded by the Knights of Archaon, and then I'm going to debuff him with Appius as well. So you can see here that he is going to be, or I thought I debuffed him, I guess I didn't. He's just going to be killed so quickly that the debuff is essentially pointless. Appius gets his Pit of Shades off here in support of an infantry fight where there was a great number of enemies all blobbed up. And Wulfric is quickly killed, and Archaon is able to move because, folks, we've got company. On our flanks, we have a lot of Chaos Knights. I believe about 9 in total that are engaging us. I've brought both of my Chosen with halberds, including the Sons of the Last Plague, and I've engaged my standard Knights, as well as the Crimson Rampage and my 2 halberd units to hold off the tide. And then I've got Archaon and his Knights coming to reinforce against this huge heavy cavalry menace that has been brought to bear against us. So here comes Archaon and his Knights charging in. Folks, this is a heavyweight fight. These are some tanky units from both sides. These are Sons of the Last Plague heading in here to poison our enemies. And then the infantry fight is ravaging across the screen. And I'll give you all a feel for what's going on in that infantry fight. Appius steps in to help rout some Chaos Warriors with great weapons before they were able to hold against the Everwardens. But the Everwardens were able to... But look at the Reavers of the Night Faith here, barely even touched. And the same with my Chosen. That ward save and physical resistance makes these infantry just absolutely godlike. I'm going to send Appius over here to clear out another pocket of infantry by attacking them in the back. So he may be a sorcerer, but he is not a sorcerer who is afraid of combat. He's going to come crashing into the back of these Chaos Warriors and try and break their morale. Come on, Appius. There we go. Meanwhile, the cavalry fight is just absolutely raging over here, and the AI is trying to disengage and take more favorable engagements. I'm chasing them. I'm using my halberds to cut through them everywhere it's possible, and when I do, it is very effective. Archaon is caught in a large blob fight over here. You can see him attempting to continue the fight. He's somewhere right here. I'll have to turn on the... Yeah, here he is. There's so many flaming swords and horses about, it's almost hard to spot him. So Archaon is fighting his way in, and at this point we've overpowered all of the infantry that Wulfric left behind. He himself is dead, leaving the leadership of his army somewhat questionable, but these knights are not wavering. They are fighting bravely in the midst of overwhelming odds, and despite the power bar up there, they are not ready to rout yet, but as I continue to push, they will be. And in fact, one of my units gets a little bit left alone. I'm going to use Cascading Fire Cloak. Look at the stats on the Troll Hammers there as they get the Cascading Fire Cloak. What a battle for them. I'm going to send them down here to help bail out this unit here. My Chaos Knights are getting overwhelmed by 2 knights that have them pinned down, and I will not lose a unit. I refuse to let that happen. So here comes the Ever-Chosen and his knights with lances to help rectify this quickly and put a swift end to Rulek and claim the Eye of Shirian for himself. I'm loving the heavy knight action that this army brings. It's a very fun playstyle, especially when you have an awesome Anvil infantry force with all this Chosen. It just sets up some really fun, classic Total War gameplay. Rulek Bloodeater is defeated, and the armor of Morkar is Archaon's now, infused, channeled with his spirit, I guess, as he said. It's pretty cool. I love the quest battles in this game, and the bit of flavor it adds into. As you can see, our infantry performed extremely well overall, and nothing to knock on the Everwardens because they are spectacular, but if you'll notice, the one unit that definitely isn't hitting at a whole new weight class. If you look at the performance of my Chosen versus the Everwardens, you can see why they will be moved to Sigvald's army, and we're going to replace these with Chosen. So I think we need to name one of our units here for the battle, and I'll probably name one of my Chaos Knights the Wardens of Morkar to help kind of mark that. Or actually, you know what? You all come up with a name. You come up with a name. I will check the chat. That's going to be all the time I have for this episode. We've subjugated 2 Norskin lords, and we've picked up the armor of Morkar. We have to re-subjugate one of the Norskins. We've opened up the recruitment of Sigvald and Kolek, and they will be summoned, which means as soon as we re-subjugate Throgg, we're going to head south with Archaon and begin the war against men. The men of the Empire, and eventually Bretonia is where we will push. And then I'm going to send Kolek in an army towards the dwarves and the undead, and I think I'll send Sigvald to begin messing with the elves. Perhaps, I think we'll send him to mess straight with the elves and to see how Ulthuan enjoys being invaded. I will see you all on the next episode.